I want to get to something here before because we have a little bit of leeway. And look, what do they say? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Well, Benjamin Solak from ESPN stole something from us. And one, I want to acknowledge the flattery, and then two, I want to dig into it. So we're going to do a special edition of Don't Quote Me, and then I will read Benjamin Solak's Don't Quote Me from his ESPN.com article.
We're not saying it's gonna happen.
Let it ride!
But if it does, then we want credit.
Say that again, because that is an amazing take.
I told you all.
If not, well...
Don't quote me, boy, because I ain't said...
All right, so Benjamin Solak from his NFL season 100 days Nuggets prediction stats, thoughts, and list created a segment here, or not a segment, a section in his article that says 10 bold predictions that you should aggregate unless they end up being correct. Please do not try to screenshot these. It will cause your phone/computer/tablet to explode.
What?
So I will say I did screenshot this and send this to you guys earlier today. There's a reason I haven't responded to it.
So there you go.
It did work.
What was the show where it's like this message will self-destruct?
That's Mission Impossible.
Okay. So there you go. The Packers will miss the playoffs. That's his statement. I think two of the biggest non-negotiable for playoff teams are having a pass rush and a dominant receiver. The Packers definitely don't have the first and still might not have the second even after drafting Matthew Golden in round 1. They were plus 12 in turnover differential last season, which ranked third in the NFL, but that tends to be a sticky number. I'm also looking at the plus 24 Bills with supreme suspicion. So I'll let both of you react first.
It's kind of funny because I've never compared the Packers to the Bills, but I feel like twice in the last week we have heard multiple
Robert
things.
Mays from The Athletic did the same thing. Yep.
On their football podcast. Like comparing the Packers to the Bills, and that's just never been an equivalent team. But I kind of like it, even though I hate the fact that they're saying that he's saying that they're not going to make the playoffs, because I hate just this prediction. I know that we're in the business of bold predictions, especially when it comes closer to the season. I know that here at ESPN Madison, we love to do bold predictions. But, I mean, he's not wrong.
Some might say, don't quote me predictions.
Some might say, don't quote me predictions. True. But I don't disagree with everything that he said. But I also think that a massive component of this is Jordan Love needs to be good too, because it doesn't matter if you have a number one receiver if you don't have a quarterback.
So, Matt, before we get to you, I want to point out the Packers, in their mind, have addressed this by two, you need everything to go right sort of things. One, they changed their D-line coach. So they're like, all right, we have the players. But again, that could be Goody saying that I'm not wrong, you're wrong. Yeah. I mean, because he's saying my picks aren't trash of Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness. And every other defensive lineman is not developing the way we think they're going to. Like, that's not a me problem. That's a coaching problem. So his thought was, instead of adding better players, he's going to add better coaching. So that's one thing he thinks he did to address it. And then the other would be Matthew Golden, who, again, I think can be a very good player, and anything can happen, but he's not being projected as a hit the ground. Even if he becomes a number one receiver, he might have number one receiver games sometimes and then disappear other games. That's common for rookies. So, like, for him to be the number one receiver in year one is a pretty heavy lift for a guy who is viewed as a third or fourth best wide receiver prospect in this draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing, though, that gets me, like, I understand the turnover thing. There's a lot of, like, randomness with how the ball bounces, at least on fumbles.
Tips on interceptions.
All those kind of things. But I will say, when Hafley came in, he said we were going to ball hawk more. Like, that is what I want to do. I want to create turnovers. And he did. So I have faith that there's a good chance it dips.
Like 3rd to 10.
But, like,
if they're top 10, that's still very good.
Yeah.
But
I don't see, like, the massive dip from, like, top to bottom.
No.
Right?
And I don't think he's saying that will happen. Like, as a Bears fan, under Lovie Smith, this was talked about all the time. And there were ebbs and flows. And that, honestly, because they had no offense, would dictate the success of their season. Mm-hmm. When they were number one in the league, they were a team that could be competing for the division title. When they were not turning the ball. And it was almost year to year, because now they never went 1 to 15 or whatever. It'd be like 1 to 10. But that could count for 3 wins for them. If Packers going from 3 to 10, which is not crazy, that's still an upper echelon defense as far as turning the ball over, that might knock them down to 9 wins or 10 wins, and then all of a sudden you have a tougher schedule. Maybe you have 9, and now the playoffs could be in trouble.
I guess what I'm getting at is the idea that a guy, he kind of called his shot coming in, and it made me think that there might be something to it. I don't see a skid even to 10. I have hope that we're still going to be a pretty good
top 10 defense and
turnover team.
turnovers would be great.
Oh, it would be great, but we're at 3 right now.
You think they're going to stay there?
I think they're going to slide to like 5, but nothing like crazy. I still think they're going to be a turnover.
So the Bills
team.
will then also stay up high?
It's a chance, yeah. There's a good
there's
chance.
a
I don't know
better
as much
chance.
about the Bills.
But they're
I
plus
just
24. The Packers
all
are
I
plus
know
12.
is
Yeah.
our D coordinator came in, said we were going to turn the ball over, and did that. And it's something that's random. Like, sure, it could be, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until I'm proven wrong.
It's not random, but the benefit of the doubt, again, would go back to keeping them in the top 10 would be given the benefit of the doubt. You are maintaining that they're not going to have a drop-off in luck.
I'm going to
there
say
is
there's still going to be an elite ball turnover defense.
I think they're going, again, top 10 to me is still elite.
I mean, it's only top third. You're only better than 22 other teams.
And the year before that, they were all the way at the bottom?
They were. And, it was,
So, like,
and
that's
that's
the
why
point.
I'm like, this guy actually
So, like, you
knows how
level
to
set-
make it happen.
I think also the biggest contributor was Xavier McKinney coming in, and let's just say he's a really good player.
Yeah, really good player.
Who
and
also
a
got
scheme that
lucky.
works out well for him.
He got lucky because that is what turnovers are a lot of the time is luck.
Yeah,
And-
that's,
and
and that's what Jim
opponents-
said too. But like for
And opponents, you're playing a tougher schedule this year.
where
Yes.
were we the year before? Bottom half.
Okay, but Matt, let's play devil's
We're
advocate.
now
this.
top
Bottom
3,
third, probably.
and he called his shot on it.
How many
I'm gonna assume he can do it.
How many turnovers came from the AFC, like the Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts, and what was the other trash team that they played from that conference?
The
Well, it was
Texans, they might
definitely
have gotten a few.
sacks came in there.
But it wasn't about
Yeah,
sacks.
but nobody
He-
thought the Texans were.
Xavier McKinney had like 5 or 6 picks in the first like 7 or 8 games.
I think he had
He
7
had one
picks
in like every game.
He had a
Yeah.
pick in the first 7 games. All 7 games he had an interception.
And again, that's not knocking the Packers. I'm just saying it looks like they're playing a tougher schedule this year. So tougher schedule and ball bounce is different. It might just not even 8.
Could be
Top 8.
Maybe it's just like my hopeless optimism. But I like when a guy calls a shot and does it. So I'm
So,
going to
the
assume
funny
that
thing
he's right.
I don't think we're disagreeing with you. You
Yeah.
just have them still elite when.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've seen it in Chicago when their whole existence was turnovers. They would go from like 1 to 5, 1 to 8, 10. Like you still were in that upper echelon, but it's hard to be the premier every year because teams start guarding against it.
Yeah, I mean Xavier McKinney got a lot less in the second half of the season because I
Start
think
throwing away
quarterbacks
from
were
him.
aware.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
hey,
And
let's not favor that side of the field that he's on.
And if you don't have Jair and Keyshawn Nixon's number 1, good luck. We'll talk to Jason Wilde about that next. It's Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Medicine on YouTube.